I'm sure you've noticed, as I have, that airline travel has gone to the dogs, particularly after COVID. It just felt like the service provision went through the floor and the prices went through the roof. It's really hard to justify, but of course, that's what happens when you have a heavily regulated airline sector, regulated by the federal government, that favours the players that already exist in it. You'll remember, of course, the story last year of Qatar, which wanted extra international flights into Australia. Federal government said no. Of course, Qantas lobbied heavily for that, because if you don't have other players in the market, it means existing players like Qantas get to have more flights, and then they can dictate the price of those flights and they make more money. It's a pretty simple concept. It's the same reason that Rex fell over on the domestic level, because they tried to break into the capital city market, but of course the federal government decides when they can fly and who they can fly, etc. So they give them slots that no one really wants to fly in, and all of a sudden they fall over, and then the price of your tickets go up on Qantas and Virgin and Jetstar, etc. Well, Qantas is going to do you dirty again. They have decided that the value of your Qantas frequent flyer points is going down. For what reason, we don't really know, except that they just want to squeeze more money out of you, it would seem. This is reporting in the Oz Today from Robin Ironside. From August the 5th, a business class reward seat from Perth to London will require 151,800 points, which is up from 126,500, while a first class seat will cost 227,800 points instead of 189,800 plus taxes and carrier charges. That is quite a significant increase, a 20% increase in the points you need to spend. It's the same at the domestic level. It'll be 5% more on points for a premium seat, or 15% more, for points on an economy seat. Why? I mean, inflation hasn't gone up by 15% in the last year. Last I checked, inflation's been going down. And yet we are told that we must pay more points, which you can collect by flying with an airline or spending with your credit card, etc. I mean, it's just another way in which the service provision of the major airlines is going to the dogs. It used to be about service. You know, you'd be proud to fly Qantas because it was the national carrier, and, you know, I feel good as an Australian flying on an Australian airline because it's got the best service ever. Well, most people, I think, flying internationally now disagree with that. They get better service for less money elsewhere.
The problem with Qantas is they make you feel like they're doing you a favour by allowing you to grace their airline. I caught a Qantas flight the other night from Brisbane, and it was boarding at 7:25. So being the efficient traveller that I am, I arrived at the gate right on 7:25 when boarding starts. There's no one at the gate, and there's a sign that says final call. And so I said to the lady at the gate, I said, how can it be final call? It says boarding 7:25. I'm here at 7:25. How come it's a final call? She said, you look like a regular traveller. You should know better. I said,
good heavens.
Sorry? She said,
service.
It looks like you travel regularly. You should know better than to turn up at this point.
How dare you turn up at the time it says on the timetable?
I know. That's called Qantas service. But the good news is they've just announced, despite this massive jacking up of points required to get a flight, that they're introducing a side salad as part of your meal on international flights. So you balance the two out. You know,
that's like
more points.
I don't even know.
But it's side salad.
Serious.
I'm being serious. Yeah, it was announced. It was big news the other week.
I don't want side salad.
The other week.
I want more booze.
Everyone, who can afford to fly Qantas anymore anyway? I cannot remember the last time I flew Qantas, and that hasn't been because they've been screwing over the Australian people for ages now. We've been talking about all the COVID nonsense, and these guys haven't been my carrier for ages, and they're not going to become it. I'm a Virgin girl all the way now, and gosh, it's still very hard to rack up points. The amount of points that this was talking about, I was like, who flies that much that they get half that many?
You need the credit card. Get on the credit card.
No, thanks.